Well, it's almost football time. We got the SEC Media Days coming up next week. We got practice after that. It's going to be Alabama football here in another 50 and change days. And we're going to get into all that on Elephant in the Room. We're brought to you by Pearl River Resort, Philadelphia, Mississippi. The Azaleas, the Oaks, part of Dancing Rabbit Golf Course, the Augusta You Can Play. We're going to talk about all this stuff right here on the show. So let me play this man's open, and we'll get this thing started. All right, so much to get into on today's show, and there's Jake Coker. I feel like we can't not talk about AJ's comments about Hugh Freeze because they're so funny. But I want to like we can't just start the show with it. But good for those guys, man, making some headlines with their content and cracking me up at the same time, right? Or maybe we should start it there.
I mean, you're not going to get a half-ass answer out of AJ if you ask him something controversial.
No. The Dynasty podcast, he said his quotes, Hugh Freeze is full of shit. and I think Hugh Freeze is trying to do whatever he can to save face. He's starting to feel pressure at Auburn. I think going into his third year, not having the success that the alumni, the boosters, everybody donating a lot of money thought he would have. By this point, I think he's trying to figure out and scramble on why they are not successful. And what's crazy is Bama's recruiting's up to number 5. Auburn's at number 71. You know, they made those comments that they think that when the NIL money is revealed August 1st, that's going to change things. John Cohen, I you know, like I said, I don't know John Cohen well, but I remember him as Mississippi State's baseball coach. The guy's been a winner pretty much everywhere he's went. I'm sure he thought this was a slam dunk hire. He's probably frustrated. And then there's your old offensive coordinator. Never afraid to shy away from a chance to get some press, and he commented on Hugh Freeze winning a golf tournament. And everybody's interpreting it as him saying, "Hey, man,
there's no need for interpretation. I mean, there is no need for interpretation."
So, you know all these players.
I mean, I still don't really understand. So August 1st, I mean, I guess, again, that's the deadline or the timeline in which you can open up about, what you can pay players in writing. I still, to me, if that's, nobody else is being, to me, no big power players being held back by those guidelines or those agreements, right? I mean, and you may lose some recruits, but to me, and again, I'm not too well studied on this subject, but when I speak to people at Alabama and those involved in NIL, they have a pretty good idea of what their payments are going to look like, what their funding is going to look like. I think they've got a pretty good idea and have an organized view of how everything's going to play out. So, I think you may lose guys around that August 1st deadline that are all about NIL and may get bigger offers somewhere else. But I think, again, based on my conversations with people I know at Alabama, the conversations they're having right now on NIL with these recruits is pretty in line with what they plan to pay them. They've got a good idea. They're organized and communications being had between those guys and the coaching staff. So, to me, you can say that, you're waiting on that all you want to, but, at some point, shouldn't there be some communication and organization between coaches and power players at Auburn to where you can have those conversations with recruits and give them an understanding of what they can expect to see from an NIL perspective. Like, again, to me, and I like Hugh Freeze. I mean, as much as I make fun of Auburn on this show, I do like Hugh Freeze. I'd like to see him do well, but it is hard to grasp that being 71 or 80 or whatever they are in the recruiting rankings is all because they can't figure out, what the NIL scenario is going to be until August 1st. I have a hard time accepting that line,
Yeah. I mean, how
are you not prepared at this point to have an idea at least of what these recruits can expect?
Yeah, right. How are you in the 70s in recruiting?
Well, I mean, if I'm a recruit, if I'm a parent of a recruit, I'm communicating pretty openly with these coaches and trying to get an understanding, or at least figure out where the needle is on this NIL stuff. And again, if things change dramatically August 1st, then that they were full of shit. But I mean, I think you can gauge how honest a coach is being throughout this process before they know exactly how much they're going to pay you. And again, I would expect if you're going to have these conversations, if you're going to recruit these guys seriously, then you'd be on top of that. And
right.
It doesn't make much sense to me. I mean, again, you can say that all you want to, but to me, it looks pretty sloppy. To be honest with you, if you really have no idea what you can pay certain players or pay certain recruits,
right? I don't know how you would look at this situation if you were Auburn and feel good about it. I mean, you've been terrible for like the last 4 years, and your recruiting's not very good. But what are you going to do? You're going to fire Hugh Freeze and hire somebody else? Because then you're taking money away from the money you would use for NIL, right? So, I mean, like, how many former coaches are you going to be paying off, right? Because Brian Harson's still getting paid off. Gus Malzahn, I mean, that guy did a pretty good job. I thought he was a pretty good coach. But, that wasn't good enough. And then now you went out and got Hugh Freeze, who's had success, and he's not having success, and that doesn't feel like there's a whole lot of patience there. But they still have time to turn their recruiting around. Unlike you, I'm not pulling for him at all. I want to see them lose every game. In light of the 30th anniversary of Jerry Garcia's last concert on July 9th, 1995, him making that girl take off her Grateful Dead tie-dyed shirt in his office in the past, which was alleged from one of her interns. One of his interns never liked him after that. So hopefully the ball just keeps on rolling on top of them and they just keep losing. I mean, I don't know. I don't think they can continue to be this bad. I think eventually it'll get turned around, but it doesn't seem like it's a place that has a lot of momentum.
No, it just seems, I mean, again, it's kind of what Auburn was accusing Kalen DeBoer of being, I mean, coming in, and of course, Hugh Freeze did have a good class last year, and he inherited one of the worst rosters at Auburn, because I felt like that roster was gutted. He did a pretty good job last year recruiting guys, and this year I just don't understand where the mishap is. What's going on? I mean, everybody else is finding a way to land commitments and at least get some excitement. I mean, even if Alabama loses some guys, there's some excitement around this class. You know what I mean? And there's a feeling that, I mean, and throughout the summer you're seeing more media talking heads. Not that it means a ton, because people are wrong all the time, but you're getting Alabama starting to be putting that higher and higher up on that pedestal. I see more and more reports of guys saying national championship contenders where, 6 months ago, people were thinking, maybe 9 wins, maybe 10 wins. And I'm still on that with that schedule. I'm still on the fence of I think we get 10 wins. I hope we get 11. But that schedule's pretty tough. But there's a lot of excitement around Alabama. Again, more media talking heads talking about national championship contenders, and Auburn. It looks like a sinking ship, to be honest with you. And again, if I'm the dad of a recruit and I'm looking at Alabama and Auburn, to me it's a no-brainer. I know that sounds, people just hear me say that and think it's a biased opinion, but if I watched Alabama last year, and then we were having the recruiting class that Auburn's having, or at least the momentum that Auburn's having, I wouldn't be real high on Alabama right now. But to win 9 games after losing 26 guys, and you got a recruiting class coming in, in 2026 at this point right now that's in the top 5, and having met Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubb, and we know Kane Womack. You got to feel really good about where we are and what the pathway looks like moving forward. I can't say that for Auburn.
No, look, Sedarian Morgan, the number 1 player in the state, picks Alabama last week, right? 5-star. They're fighting Anthony Jones right now, or for Anthony Jones, the tankster from your high school, St. Paul's, and it's between 3 schools. Auburn's not even one of them. It's Alabama, Texas A&M, and Oregon. Bama's already got Zion Gibson, and they got Xavier Crowell. So in my count, that's 3 of the top 5 in the state, and then and they have a chance to get 4 if they can pull in Tank. And I know it's a battle, but it doesn't feel like Auburn was able to carry the momentum that they had in-state recruiting from last year. Remember, when Saban left, they did really well in recruiting in the state. Lasted 1 year, and I think AJ was kind of right about saying, hey, you know what, in this state, it's all about Alabama. I'm sorry, Auburn, it just is. And it's not just about football. When you go places, Alabama people run everything. There's more Alabama fans. When I worked for Crimson Tide Sports Network, they swore that this was true. Tom Roberts used to tell me that there's more Alabama fans in Lee County than there is Auburn fans. And that's where they're from, but
Yep.
It's because this, Alabama is a national brand. I feel like Auburn's more of a local brand. When they win, it's not a sustained every year contending for a national championship thing. It's, hey, we got some good teams, and then they build towards championships, whereas Alabama is always about either win it all or it doesn't matter.
Well, look,
I feel like they lost their way.
Look, you watch Auburn storm the field after they beat Alabama. You're not going to see Alabama storm the field after we beat Auburn. It's just not going to happen. I think we go into every game, and you can say that the Tommy Tuberville years, those were rough, but
I lived them.
But all schools have their rock bottom moments. That was we weren't having the greatest years back then, and it is what it is. But they got us while we were down. But Alabama, I think especially over the last 17 years, you expect to beat Auburn every year, and there's a confidence that Alabama has, and Auburn reacts that way because, let's be honest, they're not Alabama, and they never will be Alabama, and it is what it is.
Yep, I agree.
When people outside of the state of Alabama watch the Iron Bowl, their thought is that Auburn is the underdog, and Auburn may have a good year, but even if Alabama's of a lesser rank than Auburn's going to be really excited about beating Alabama, and if Auburn's unranked or of a lesser ranked, and we go in and expect to beat Auburn, and we love beating Auburn, but it's not the highlight of our year.
Right. Yeah. Well, we just hate losing to them. It's like, when you got like a mosquito on your arm, you just want to get it off of there. Hey guys, let me remind you that we're brought to you by Pearl River Resort over in Philadelphia, Mississippi. The Azaleas, the Oaks, talked about that. 2 amazing golf courses. And when you go over there, we want you to look good. Rowback.com. Our promo code is Crimson20. You'll look great in that Rowback gear. And they've got golf gear. They've got that hoodie, Alabama stuff. They've got stuff for the office. And it's comfortable. And it when you wash it, it doesn't fade. Really good looking gear. Every time I wear a Rowback shirt, people are like, "Hey, is that Rowback?" I think they just like the little dog logo on there. People love pet dogs. All right. Well, let's kind of switch gears here and let me ask you about SEC Media Days, because there's been a lot of talk on when they release the players that are going to be there talking, right? It's Caden Proctor's one of them. Deontay Lawson is one of them. But one of them that it isn't is Ty Simpson. And, he's presumably going to be the quarterback this year. What you went through this kind of the same thing. You went through a quarterback battle. What was your thoughts when you didn't get invited to SEC Media Days? And was that a sign to you that, like this, I'm not getting this job right now?
No, I mean, I knew that. I knew I wasn't going, and I'm glad that Coach Saban didn't send me there, because it would have all been about the QB competition, and it would have been questions that I didn't want to answer. It would have been weird to answer a lot of them,
Right.
It's hard to get those questions without, you got to show confidence, but at the same time, you got to lift all your teammates up, and it's just a weird atmosphere to get gotcha questions, to be honest with you. So, I mean, if the quarterback hadn't been if he was named the starter in the spring and it was a done deal and it was over, I think you bring him for sure. But I think it's good that he gets to avoid that situation and not be put in some unfavorable scenarios. I don't see how Ty's not the starting quarterback on day one. I think that's, pretty much a done deal. What happens later on the season will be indicative of how he performs, and I think he's going to do really well. I don't see Keelan Russell coming in freshman year and beating Ty Simpson out, who has a lot of arm talent, has been there for 3 years, and I hammer home the coach's son, because every coach's son I've ever been around anticipates real well, has a really good understanding of the game, and I think mentally he's going to far exceed everyone else. Our boy Mac, that's right behind him, I think he's really, really talented, but he's only been there for 1 year. So again, I think it's all Ty, but I think it's a good situation that he's not involved in Media Day. I mean, even if I was a 3-year starter, to be honest with you, I wouldn't want to go to Media Day. I don't think anybody's particularly looking forward to it, to be honest with you. And got a good group of guys going. I mean, you go in there, all these interviews, you're walking on eggshells trying to say the right thing, and avoid slipping up and providing bulletin board material. So I honestly can't even remember who went my senior year. I think it was OJ, Reggie, and Derek, maybe. But I really can't even remember, to be honest with you. And Ryan Kelly.
Tim Keenan's the other guy that's going this year. All those dudes are good talkers. There's a lot, I'm sure, an added pressure when Nick Saban's your head coach when it comes to talking to the media, though.
Yeah. You're Quinn Williams. Quinn Williams? Remember he said something about not being too worried about a quarterback, and he was like, "Oh, don't put that in there. Don't put that in there." I can't even remember who they were playing.
Yeah. They were scared to death. Like because Saban scrutinized all that stuff. He never wanted to give the team any kind of psychological advantage. I mean, look, all that stuff matters, man. Like but he worried about that a lot, and I'm sure there was a ton of pressure on guys that had that responsibility to go there and talk, because players didn't talk a lot when Coach Saban was there, and assistant coaches never talked.
No, well, I mean, again, he tried to make every single aspect of his organization an advantage, beat you in every phase of the game, on and off the field, interviews, whatever it might be.
Right.
He's going to make you better and make you an asset rather than a freaking nightmare.
Yeah.
So, he did his best to win games. It didn't matter what you were doing.
Talk out of the Manning camp was that Ty Simpson was in there just lighting it up.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I hear. Man, he's got great footwork. He's got a lot of arm talent. I mean, I guess size-wise, he may be a little smaller than the other guys, but man, he's more than capable of getting the job done. I think he's going to do great. I think he's kind of one of those guys that's just flying under the radar because he hadn't played a whole lot.
Yeah.
But it's tough to play when you got Jalen Milroe in front of you.
What was it like for you when you you finally got your chance to start, and and you had been kind of like a backup quarterback for all those years?
I mean, I think that first start, or really the first few starts, you're a little, or at least I was a little hesitant to make mistakes. Then after that Ole Miss game, when I got benched, was when I just said, fuck it, let's see what happens, and just start throwing the ball around. And there were a few times where I was a little conservative with the ball, probably because I felt like, I mean, we had great offensive line, great talent around us. You had, Derek and Kenyon in certain games where, you knew you didn't have to go crazy with it and sling the ball around. I mean, games where you felt like we were just solid and better, and all we had to be was consistent. And then there were some games like probably a little reckless. That Clemson game, I mean, that national championship game, I was way too conservative right off the bat. And I've told you that story a million times where I got to the sideline, and I think it was in the third quarter. I was just like, man, if you don't start throwing it around, whether you throw interceptions or not, you don't start making plays, we're going to lose this game. And so, just started being a little bit more aggressive. But yeah, when you're playing for Coach Saban, and he told me all the time, he's like, you don't need to win the game, just make sure you get it to the guys and let them make plays. But obviously there are certain scenarios where you're playing a team that's on par with you talent wise, and the quarterback's got to make plays. So there's definitely, you got to have a feel for the game, especially back then. But I think if I'd have had a couple of years to start, I think I'd have been a lot more comfortable and been able to do a little bit more. But it's tough coming in there your first year starting, and there's a QB battle, and you get benched, and then come back because you want to play so bad. And for me, I loved Alabama so much. I wanted to play at Alabama. That was a dream of mine. And so, you don't want to lose that opportunity by doing a lot of dumb shit on the field, which, it'll win you some games but it'll also, sometimes you're a little too cautious and don't make the plays you should have. And there's plays I think about all the time where I'm like, damn, I should have done this or should have done that. But, it all worked out. Thank God.
Yeah. Worked out with the championship 10 years ago, by the way. 2016 title. Guys, look, we're brought to you by the great people at Residence Inn by Marriott Ocean City. Our guy Keith's got you covered, man. He's a regular watcher and a Bama fan, but out there in beautiful Ocean City, back-to-back coastal style hotel of the year. You got the boardwalk, you got amazing seafood, awesome views, great hospitality, and it's right there on the water in Ocean City, not too far from Secrets. It's a place that I'm trying to get to, and I know you guys want to do it as well. The next round, I actually went out there and did their show with Keith at Residence Inn. So take advantage of it. A great place for a different look on vacation. And I'm telling you, I grew up going there. It's awesome. I mean, that's why I can't wait to go back. Like the old days. Have you ever had like crab on a pretzel before? Like a soft pretzel?
No, I have not. Sounds damn good though.
It is, man. Crab like on hot dogs, crab on steak. They put crab on everything there. And it's amazing. Like they spice it, they put the Old Bay stuff on there, OJ seasoning.
Man, I love that's Old Bay came from Maryland, didn't it?
Yeah, it did, yeah.
Yeah. I freaking love Old Bay. But man, I love seafood. It's crab really probably when you get somebody that knows what they're doing with crab, that's probably the best seafood there is. Yeah.
We need to do a crab feast next week.
I love a good West Indies. You've had West Indies? West Indies salad with the crab meat, the vinegar, and all that? You've never had that?
I need to try that.
Oh,
I've had crab soup, crab
West
cakes.
Indies with a cracker. Oh my gosh, can't beat it.
Where do you get it at?
I get it a lot at Mosley's.
Oh, I'm gonna have to try that.
There's one right around you.
Is there?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Try it out.
Well, look,
thank me later. Thank me later.
I will. Well, look, man, it's been great doing the show. We'll be back next week with more episodes. Obviously, SEC Media Days is going to give us a lot to talk about. We're brought to you by Pearl River Resort. Don't forget, guys, you can download the podcast on the Cover Crimson Podcast Network, Spotify, Apple, anywhere you find your podcasts. It's out every single day. And we appreciate you for being here. Like, subscribe, thumbs up, hit the bell. We're going to be over at Pearl River Resort again soon. We talked about the Dancing Rabbit Golf Course, but don't forget the sports books there. That's in Golden Moon Casino, 20 big screen TVs, full-size bar, and then you can bet just like you're out in Vegas. They've got a full sports book, whether you want to do the window, you need a little bit of help, the kiosk, a personal kiosk, the table games and slots are top-notch. Water parks open right now. Geyser Falls, it's hot. You want to get the kids out there. Throw them kids in the water park. You go inside, play a little bit, maybe go do some golfing. Philip M. Steakhouse. We've eaten there a ton of times, man. The steaks are amazing. The tomahawk steak, we had that last time. I really wanted to gnaw on the bone when it was done. So good. Anyway, Pearl River Resort, we appreciate them. Roll Tide, my friend.
Roll Tide.
To Pearl River Resort.